Being part of the ISV Connect program helps our visibility with Microsoft sellers, which in turn helps us when we're introduced to new partners.
It has accelerated our entrance into new markets, and our product is developing with higher quality and at higher speed than it would otherwise have.
Things like ISV licensing, handling our licenses just like any Microsoft first-party applications. We see that as a big benefit.
What ISV Connect program introduced is very different level of confidence with our customer. And with the Microsoft expanding the program, we are expecting to grow our ISV portfolio significantly.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another installment of ISV Connect Live. And also welcome to the last show of Microsoft's fiscal year FY23. It's hard to believe that we've gone through an entire year together, including with our partners. And it's an honor to have K3, a global BizApps ISV, who actually we've had on the show before, but usually like to bring people back after a certain period of time just to share some amazing insights. And we have a newcomer to the show as well. So before we get to Kimberley and Tony, let me give a quick overview for those of you who've never come across these before. What's the purpose of these? Why do we run these events? So we really want to make sure that we have an opportunity to share the amazing greatness that our BizApps ecosystem, our Dynamics ISVs can play in regards to customer outcomes. And we use this show to allow our partners to come on stage and really share the benefits that they drive and the business outcomes they help to drive with Microsoft. And also gives an opportunity for the people watching to better understand different people in our partner ecosystem. So as we get started, I welcome people to comment where you're watching from. So if you're watching from Europe, where Tony's driving this, if you're somewhere in the Americas where Kimberley and I are doing this, or anywhere in between, we'd love to hear where you're watching from. So if you just want to put in the LinkedIn comments, we'll do a quick shout out at the beginning before we get started. The second is that if you have any questions for Kimberley or Tony, feel free to put that in the LinkedIn window. And if there's time at the end, usually have an opportunity to ask those questions in real time so that I can put Kimberley and Tony on the spot with a question from the real-time audience who are watching live to ask a question. And then finally, if there is something that's really resonating with you, I encourage you to use the one of the emoji icons in LinkedIn, because that gives us indication that the information is actually resonating with people in the audience. So without further ado, Kimberley and Tony, welcome to the show. I truly appreciate you guys making time out of both your busy days. So why don't we get started with just giving a quick intro for what each of you do, what's your roles at K3, and then I'm going to mix it up a little bit, partly because Tony's been on the show before, so I try to change up questions. And we're going to use the question of what's your favorite movie of all time as the second question, just to get things started. So Kimberley, ladies first, we'll go with you and start with, again, what's your role at K3 and what's your favorite movie of all time?
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. It's exciting to be here. It's my first LinkedIn Live. So thank you for inviting us back. My name is Kimberley Morgan. I'm the global head of sales at K3. I will be at K3 in July for 2 years. And I started actually as the VP of North America and the global partner client channel lead, and then have developed to have scope over the global sales organization, which has a really great opportunity for me. It's a nice intersection between our partner channel, which is amazing, our Microsoft leads, and then also our end users and prospects. I like to call it the strong trifecta. We have partners, we have Microsoft, and we have K3, and it's a powerhouse that comes together to really drive forward the needs of the fashion, apparel, and retail market. So that's a little bit about my role. And I sit in New York City. So if anyone is in the comments in New York City, hello, come meet me. But I travel globally too. So I'll be in London next week. But let me know. I'd love to come grab coffee in real life. My favorite movie. So I'm not like such a huge movie buff per se, but you know, I love the 90s kind of like slapstick comedies, like the Dumb and Dumbers, the Happy Gilmores. I mean, I'm a pretty comical person. I like to keep it light. So that's where I fall. I don't know if that resonates to anyone's side of their movie kind of cinematic background, but that's kind of my genre of all time.
I love it. I love it, Kimberly. Yeah, I mean, Ferris Bueller, Day Off. I mean, all those.
Come on, you can't like it's just they're quotable, and I quote them often. So
yeah, I love it, and I also love him in the spirit of ending our fiscal year. I love the fact that you have a little gong behind the scenes.
Yes, you have to. Hi, we are Global Head of Sales. Sorry if there's the explicitness, but we got to do epic things together, and we gong and celebrate. And Microsoft being a partners is a big part of that. So
100%. And we have a number of people that were chiming in, so we'll get to them. But Tony, why don't you give a quick intro? I'm going to switch it over here. Quick intro of yourself and your role.
Yeah, so, Tony Bryant, sort of the director for the Microsoft Global Alliance. Been with K3 now 17 years, believe it or not. And I've always been in the retail part of K3 and has driven an awful lot over the years. This role has been brilliant, particularly over the last couple of years as we moved into the global ISV positioning, particularly around our engagement across the globe with Microsoft. So that's ultimately my sort of role, to make sure that we are doing all the right things in all the right territories to drive our product forward and build out those relationships which have served us well. So yeah, that's me. Regarding films, I am a Jason Bourne franchise, and stupidly, I watch films over and over again. Perhaps it's just me, but I always like to look at all the things I miss every time I see a film. So I've probably seen the whole trilogy plus probably 4 or 5 times over, and I'll probably still get a kick out of seeing them again. So yeah, I'm a Jason Bourne sort of freak.
I like it. It's okay, Tony. I love Jason Bourne as well. So out of the 3, which is your favorite one?
Oh, the first one. Yeah,
first
the first one, because it sets the scene for all the others. And I think, although Bourne Ultimatum was quite a good one, but yeah, the first one was just the whole start of the journey. Yeah.
I love it. So thank you for sharing. Before we get into the meat of the conversation, let's do a quick shout out for everyone watching, and thank you for making the investment of time. Andrea, so back in your probably backyard, Tony. Andrea, thank you for watching from somewhere in the UK. I don't know if it's London or Manchester or somewhere in between. Thank you. Somewhat close, not quite to New York, but somewhere close. So
Philly,
Diana, you're from Philly. Thank you so much for making the time. And I don't know, for some reason, people show up anonymous, but I think it's Hussein that's from Chicago. So thank you for watching from Chicago. We have Daniel from Austin, Texas. And Ewan, so thanks Ewan for commenting the time from
sunny England.
You good? I love it. Another person from Austin. We have Darren. Again, I'm not sure why LinkedIn does this sometimes, but Darren, I do see you. So thank you for watching from Austin. And then Ewan says, "What does the gong say?" So
so it's just the gong is Zillinjang, yeah, and then this is that's just my if I'm going to have a desk, I might as well have my, that's
I love it. Yeah. For those of you who don't realize that the gongs that she has, there's much bigger ones, and that's a very famous symbol. Gongs that
it's a Hollywood studio quality. Actually, in my startup days, Austin Torchy Tacos, shout out, delicious. We had a massive one, the big, but I tried to take it with me, and they said absolutely not. So I said, okay, well, let's get a mini version. But yeah, it's the kids. I have 2 kids, 8 and 5. They love to celebrate with me, and we have a loud, fun time. But
I love it. And last one, thank you, Tina, from somewhere in Southern California, and I guarantee it's probably sunny there. So, thank you, Tina. So, team, why don't we get started? Of course, the first question for those who haven't come across K3 before, maybe we could just start with what are the business outcomes K3 provides? Because again, what K3 really drives is very focused in an industry, which is amazing. We have partners that do vertical scenarios, we have partners that do horizontal scenarios, and K3 is very, very specific to the retail space. So maybe both of you can give a little flavor for those who've never heard of, for people watching live or the replay have never heard of K3 before. Maybe spend a few minutes talking about the value that you bring together on top of Microsoft.
Tony, you want to kick off?
Yeah, sure. Look, I mean, for me, it's where Microsoft build awesome products, and we build products across the retail vertical. What it doesn't always do is then finish the detail needed for subsectors within retail, being fashion and apparel. So that's where Microsoft ends, we continue. So we have full extensions right away from concept all the way through to consumer. So literally from what I simply call within retail, plan, buy, make, move, and sell, we cover that right across the spectrum for fashion and apparel. On two footprints, one being the F&O in terms of the enterprise, and the other within BC. So we have K3 Fashion on the enterprise, and Pebblestone, which is our BC product, which drives in that SMB market reasonably well, now moved across to the cloud. So that's what we do. So we wake up in the morning thinking fashion and apparel, and we drive that with our IP through our partner ecosystem. But also we then have industry experts adding value, so that people who have been a merchandiser, people who have been buyers, who we brought in, who drive the technical and the business change, where we support our partner and customer for deployment. So they're the real specialists who understand our product inside out, but also more importantly, they know the processes within that industry. So that's what we do.
I love it. Kimberley, anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I was just going to say to Tony's point, when we wake up, we think about fashion, and we go to bed, we think about it as well. I mean, it is our North Star focus, and it's something that we've really, from a global perspective, pulled through to North America, been what we've been doing for decades. And we really feel like the opportunity when it comes to such a powerhouse platform like Microsoft is to bring the two together. So the one thing to share with the audience is when you're thinking about prospects or your account list, who you're engaging with, the nuanced challenges of a fashion industry are that they're unique. They're so different. It's not like any other industry. And we've really nailed it. We've nailed the opportunity to solve those through unique IP, seamlessly integrated into Microsoft's environment to make that experience so turnkey. So we just get very excited at the opportunity when a name comes up in this space to help and solve, because we really do in a bespoke way when it comes to Microsoft and K3. So it's a very 1-2 powerhouse combination.
I love it, Kimberley, and I don't disagree because, of course, Microsoft, we can't do everything. There's no way in the world that we have the ability to scale at the pace that customers expect. And then fashion and retail in particular, fashion and apparel is such every industry is very unique, but fashion and apparel, we all have it. Because we all have clothes. We all go shopping. You think about that journey from how does a piece of clothing get made? And it's amazing. I'm not an expert, but it's one of those things when you think about the textile industry going into something that's actually physically made into a jacket, into a t-shirt, into pants. It's pretty impressive.
And that's without, COVID or supply chain or any other, glitches that could come up, the nimbleness, the fragility that happens. I mean, we really recognize that. And, I think the brands also too, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but one trend we're definitely seeing is the appetite to lean into technology. What is out there to help me? How can we relook at our business processes? They're not working. And how are we going to scale to the customer's needs that we need to anticipate because we can't? And I think that's the exciting part, the opportunity to really drive business forward, close business, grow business. So, yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. And then I do want to call out for those of you who aren't familiar with the term BC, as Tony described, that is Business Central. And so when you think about the Dynamics platform, we have amazing innovation across many different things, but when you think about the core, and when we think about the scale, if you're a smaller business, that's where Business Central comes into play. If you're a large enterprise organization, that's where Dynamics customer engagement or finance and operations comes into play. So just in case you heard the acronym BC and you're like, I've heard of Dynamics before, what's BC? Business Central. It's called Dynamics Business Central, but really we have ISVs like K3 that actually span both, because the value it brings is not just for the enterprise. It could be on on a smaller side of the business, or vice versa. It's not just the smaller size business, it's enterprise businesses that are in fashion and apparel driving opportunities. So that's
the message, Brian, is important for the fact is, we're in a position where we can do the vertical now. So they're both on the cloud. They're both driving that cloud and consumption. What's great about it is that you can look at the vertical in terms of the much smaller businesses all the way up to the top, have very similar processes in terms of what they do, but on a whole different scale. So the fact is now we're together on that vertical means that we can offer great products to everybody on that vertical, whereas before it was two horizontals. Now it's a vertical. And what we're proud about is that we can drive that fashion and apparel space harder and faster against the competition, which we know we come across on a daily basis. Yeah,
that's a great addition, Tony. And that's a good segue into our next question, which is, what's K3 been up to? I mean, since we hosted you over a year ago, there's been a ton of innovation. I mean, you talking pre-show, of course, one of the founding ISVs that were part of the retail for cloud scenario. And of course, sustainability continues to be a hot topic and a lot of the innovation that K3 has driven. So maybe you could describe a little bit about some of the things that have advanced in the partnership together with the IP that or jointly have been working on, and we'll get to the customer stories after this question, but maybe you could talk about kind of the most recent journey K3 has been on, and what does that look like in terms of innovation and the partnership itself.
Go on, Kim.
No, I think so. We've always been committed, I think, to Microsoft, but I think when you look at the last few years, we've really been laser focused and doubling down, tripling down on what that means, from the Connect program to all of the resources. So Cloud for Retail is certainly one of them, being so exciting to be a founding partner of that, to be able to insert ourselves with amazing other like-minded powerhouse partners and ISVs there too, to bring to market, again, these great services and tools that we can offer, building to supply chain and being included in meaningful ways into different partnerships and programs there. You touched on sustainability. So if it's CSR and ESG, this is something that for us, for fashion and apparel, it's always been a topic. Fashion is consumable. So, consume can mean waste. We need to rethink and really challenge ourselves to how we can transform fashion and retail for good. It's actually part of our rebrand that this happened this past 2 years, to really put a stake in the ground to understand how we can enable through our unique IP, how to help brands transform and think about transformative processes, think about how to do that better. So we have a technology that we purchased last January, VG, we're bringing into the folds of fashion as well as into Business Central, our other brand, Pebblestone. We are doubling and tripling down, as I said, on the enablement there, and paired with our team's also commitment to this topic. One of our technical leads, Andrea Ellie, just completed 12 badges and 4 trophies within Microsoft's sustainability sector. So we're really looking to raise the bar when it comes to that topic, knowing it's going to be certainly an even more, I would say, necessity need to have something to solve for those challenges. So that's one area, a few areas, many areas that we've been growing on the past couple of years. Tony, if there's any other layers you want to add from your alliance perspective?
The engineering team have been working hard on both products, both Pebblestone and fashion, to put in CSR element in that. So otherwise you can get that sort of day one today when you buy the modules along with Dynamics 365 as well as Business Central. The VG thing is also terribly important because that's also a different entry point. And as we go into the legislations which are coming out right across Europe and in New York, and these things are going to start to hit not only fashion brands but retail as a general view. This legislation will start to impact the way companies do business. Now we're going to be there on that, and we're doing a whole load of work on what does that really mean. And ERPs will be very, very difficult to change. The great thing about the agility around Dynamics and the agility which we've got within our solutions now means that we can actually meet that new demand. And what I'm super excited about, as those things change, K3 can support. But it can support from an independent fashion house all the way up to a global fashion entity, because it fits that purpose. And the agility side of it all means that actually you're doing a better job than Oracle and NetSuite and the SAPs and the Infor of the world. So that's the bit we want to open up and drive harder and faster in Microsoft's FY24. And we're super excited to be part of, when we get to the cloud for sustainability and the cloud for retail, to widen those offerings which we've already got. So, yeah.
What a great story, Tony and Kimberley, on just how we've advanced our partnership together and the innovations that occur, not just on a just day-to-day basis, but just the journey that we've undertaken together on both sides. So it's a good segue into one of my favorite questions, which is the customer story side, which is you're talking about all this amazing innovation that we're driving together for fashion and apparel companies around the world. Maybe you could take some of those favorite ones most recently that both of you have come across and talk about that journey of what happened beforehand, whether they were legacy accounts, meaning running very legacy on-prem scenarios, or ones that just didn't realize this innovation existed and then we're going down this journey and path that now has gotten to the benefit of what we can do together. So I'll have both of you kind of share your point of view of some of your favorite stories that come to mind.
Tony, you start this time.
Okay. I mean, look, we've had a number of great wins. The recent win wires have included ones which we've been working on, and the sales cycle has been extremely long. They've been becoming a lot shorter, which is fantastic news. So one of them, Phoenix, which is out of Sweden, where we've won fantastic deal, opens up a whole proof of concept situation with them, where the ramp up going forward is huge. So one, we get a customer right from the beginning. And the proof of concepts are really important. The fact that we work with our great partner ecosystem and also Microsoft on delivering a journey for that particular retail and fashion house. When it goes to go live, there'll be the ramp up, and we've got great examples of what's happened over the recent months on some of those ramp ups where that's significant regarding the license. So we go in light, we work with the consulting team from the partners, with our consultants. We have the IP, obviously driving that change for that particular business on the Dynamics products. And then we work with them. So great win, great future regarding the operation and the support we get from the partner, and ultimately a great outcome. Some of those also, Kim, I mean, the Berkshire one is a particular one which I'm proud of, and I know you certainly are. Perhaps you'd like to tell that story as well on that one.
Yeah, it's a great example. I think either the entry point from North America or global, they come together very nicely. And I think so it's a flywheel effect either way, whether it starts in North America as a win or global. We really bring that together. Bucherer, wonderful example. I think of a brand, luxury watch, powerhouse name. Entry point, I would say they took the year even to experience what the opportunity could be, not necessarily with Microsoft, that was set in stone, but with K3, and what they realized through the year journey was, while the entry point was a few use cases of very specific features and functions, it really expanded to an entire suite of usage of Microsoft, of K3, excuse me. And then ultimately actually in collaborative build, we worked on image uploader as one example, where we actually are able to now pull in images dynamically. It eliminates a lot of heavy manualness that's going to be pushed to their point of sale, to their web shop in a turnkey manner. So it's that collaboration that then has now springboarded a 3-year commitment and global expansion, to the tune of now thousands of licenses from a small entry point. So it's really that opportunity to come in prove value and collaborate, that really is a springboard to massive growth, and it's global growth. And I think, and an entry point to the luxury market, which is really great. It's really something our team is proud of, and also something that other luxury brands are looking for. So this is, dare I say, rinse and repeat. It's not, while it's unique and every client is different, this opportunity is totally repeatable time and time again across any brand. So that's what we're looking to do for legacy users on AX. We can craft something there. Luxury brands, apparel, footwear, outdoor. I mean, it's really ubiquitous. It's very exciting. So I love that example. It's a really great.
Yeah, I also think
Microsoft.
There's a huge opportunity, which we have done and proved over they're not the recent wins, but we've done them in the past, is that where we've done the upgrades from previous AX legacy, where the customer goes out to market. It's not a given that they'll just suddenly go to D365. And where we've won, and our collaboration again with Microsoft and the partners who are part of that journey, means we've not only done our existing conversions, our previous customers, but we've also got a load of net new ones as well. And those net new ones are really important because they've been out to market with SAP, Infor, Oracle, and others to go to market, and they've come back to the fact that D365 is absolutely the better product. With K3, we can then convert that. So to date, I think we've done about 8 of those conversions, and they are big. They're big fashion houses. So we're delighted about that. We're also working with SAP, because again, SAP made, I think we mentioned it before, eventually they will run out and think about what they need to do in terms of upgrade. So that's going to happen over the next 2 to 3 years. And that collaboration, we may not say get rid of SAP, but the dynamics bit in terms of the agility around it, particularly from office to channel, is remarkable, and so much, I would say, better, of course I would, but it is. And that agility is also starting to be recognized by a number of brands we're working with. So super exciting regarding the pipeline. In fact, I think our pipeline is probably been most healthy, in the last 2 years?
It has been, and I think, it's great, and it will continue to build, and it did be great growth from this year, kicking off your year, our mutual year, even more to come. So we are very, very excited about the past 2 years and then the future years ahead together.
And we're in the collateral share as well, Brian. We've got some of those win wires and customer stories, so people can read them at their leisure if they want to read through that.
Yeah, and thanks, Tony and Kimberley, for the great customer examples. I mean, I love hearing stories and the journeys that people are taking, especially luxury brands. I mean, you think about a lot of it. I personally don't shop at those places, but I've seen it. Like, you walk by some stores, and especially when you're traveling and you go to different places, you see these places, and you see people walking around with them. And again, that journey, and it's amazing because thinking about what K3 delivers in the innovation that allows a customer through that journey, also with what you mentioned with sustainability as well, really adds tremendous value. So with the few minutes we have left, I just switched the ticker a little bit at the end. So maybe both of you can just talk about, how do people learn more? What steps can people take? Because we're going to have a combination of either Microsoft, people listening to this going, wow, I didn't realize K3 did this. We're going to have partners, and you mentioned, Tony, that's one of the biggest benefits of working in the Microsoft ecosystem, is that it's not just working with Microsoft people, it's actually working with other partners that are expanding their opportunities, because we have amazing software integrators that can partner with your consultancy teams to drive the amazing value. And then last are customers, because of course a customer may come across this listening live or replay. So maybe you could just spend a few seconds talking about, how do people learn more? Because we do have a video at the end that you were kind enough to send me that's about a minute long, but I want to make sure we run that within the timeline we have. But maybe you can spend a few seconds, each of you, talking about, how do people learn more about K3?
Well, you can certainly reach out to either of us. That's first. And we have, there's collateral too, that's, I think, kept within this channel that you can research more. Of course, our website, k3btg.com. And we also have partner representation for global that come together, a deep North America team that meets the deep global team that we have. So certainly team representation as a first and foremost to reach out, to connect with us. And then if there's any partners of interest, Tony, again, or I would love to talk to you. There's nothing more that we love more than collaborating with our current partners or new partners on way to enable and drive unique IP and experiences together. So that would be the first that I would definitely share. I don't know, Tony, if there's other.
Just a couple of things. One, LinkedIn. We are very active as a business on LinkedIn, and our ecosystem sort of joins us on that. Remember, our ecosystem, without them, we wouldn't do what we do today. So it's vitally important that we have the right partners, and more than happy to talk to gain more partners globally as we sort of go through things. And the other one really is that, there's an awful lot of data we have on our website. We have some awesome events which we go to. So look in the event calendar which we have, and you may come across us. And so it's really important that you may want to drop in to see us at some of those events if you want to. So have a look at the event calendar on our website. Again, important, so we can do some. Love to connect at those things, and it's so much better doing face-to-face now. We can, and events really make that happen. Not only from Microsoft perspective, but also partners as well as K3 folk. So really exploit that.
Great. Well, I flashed those sites up there, and hopefully people were able to take screenshots of both a site that has all amazing resources that the Microsoft and K3 teams put together, but also the website itself. And Tony had mentioned that with a whole bunch of additional details. And because we do this on LinkedIn, if you're not connected with Kimberley, and
please reach out.
Do so. Please connect with them, reach out, send them a LinkedIn message. I want to thank both of you for making the time, and also for people watching live or come across the replay. Truly appreciate you investing time to learn more about amazing partners like K3 doing amazing things in fashion and apparel. This is the last event of our fiscal year, as I mentioned. Wow. So stay tuned for the new set of events that we'll have. I am taking a natural break for the first few Mondays in July, because I'm going to be out of town. Stay tuned for more.
Little R&R.
Yeah, exactly. As many people know who work with Microsoft or work at Microsoft, July and August are usually the time frame where we kind of hit refresh for ourselves and spend time to just kind of recharging for the new fiscal year ahead. But I truly appreciate the time. For those of you who want to watch future ones, ISV Connect Live, if you just want to follow that hashtag, aka.ms/ISV Connect Live is where we post all the amazing innovation, including this video that will go live in a few seconds as soon as this video ends. And so thank you, Kimberley. Thank you, Tony, for making the time. I'm going to flash up a little bit about what K3 provides. And it looks like there was someone that made a little comment in the window, Kimberley and Tony, so if you want to look in the LinkedIn window afterwards. Thanks, Darren, for making a comment. And we will end the show. And hopefully everyone enjoys the rest of June and enjoy this 1 minute video. Thanks again,
See you
Kimberley.
next year. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you.